John, and I'm going to say the tagline that Steve Brewer usually says, coming to you from the heart of Flint's beautiful east side. And today, we're sitting down with Roger Buchholtz, and Mr. Buchholtz is the Michigan Fair Tax Director, and the Fair Tax, Michigan Fair Tax, is the tax reform idea.
It is the tax reform idea, how I would say it, like you just did, is that because it is a real and permanent tax reform. Most of the other tax reform conversations really aren't tax reform, they're just tinkering around the edges with the system we have today. And that's the problem.
Now, basically, this is what I like about it, what I've seen so far, and your way you described it to me, is that it's basically trying to create more transparency in the tax system and where the taxes are at, and that's like not what is in place right now.
No, we want to make it very visible. We want people to be able to see what they're actually paying in taxes, rather than have the taxes hidden in the prices of the things that they buy. And that is what this is. The Michigan Fair Tax is a retail sales tax that is paid only by the end consumer, not by producers or in every step of production along the way. And when you tax a business, that's what you're doing, is you're adding all that tax to every step of the production process, so that the public ends up paying that tax when they buy that product. So to say that you're going to tax those rich businesses rather than us poor individuals ain't true.
Right.
What it amounts to is just a deceptive way of taxing you and me, and in so doing, it provides the government this guise of legitimacy that they're not taxing us poor individuals, but what it does is it prices our products to where they're no longer competitive. Because all these embedded taxes into the price of our products, we can't compete in the international marketplace. We can't compete in our own backyards with imports.
Right.
It's costing us our jobs. This deception of business taxes, the ruse of business taxes, the lie of business taxes, is costing us our jobs.
Yeah, see, that's what I've always surprised me too, is like I've had so many people around here, this is like a very antagonistic attitude towards industry and businesses around here. It's like very entrenched. That people say, well, let the corporations pay the taxes. And what most people don't realize is, no, the taxes that they're being paid are being passed on to you, the consumer, because the prices are being now raised. You're paying more for everything you're buying. And they think it's a punitive action. It's just based out of sheer jealousy or resentment or contempt. And basically they're cutting their nose off to spite their face.
There was a study done by the chairman of the economic department at Harvard University just a few years ago, and it showed that on the average, the retail price of everything is increased by about 22% over their true cost because of the embedded taxes. Now, when you add 22% onto the cost of a product and then try to compete with something coming from outside the country that doesn't have that buried into it, you're at quite a disadvantage. How many more Fords and Chryslers and GM cars could we sell today if they could drop their price 20% in comparison to the imports?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be significant. Not only the fact is that the money would stay here more, it wouldn't be shipped off abroad. I mean, the money would not be, there's like a multiplier effect, and the money would stay here. I mean, that's some basic economics. But people, what I think is, I don't understand the people's ability or desire to accept the tax system the way it is, and how come they resent any kind of change or attempts to change that?
Well, we got to look at who benefits.
Right.
When you follow the money, the biggest impediment to passing this is the buying and selling of those tax favors. You can't buy and sell tax favors on a sales tax. There ain't none. It's all visible. You go in, you pay the tax when you buy a product. But when you're giving this business a tax break and this group of people a tax break, pretty quick, everyone's got their tax break, and they all think that they're beating the system. But all it does is push the rate up for those that are paying. And you've not solved anything. You just made the thing so complicated. But in so doing, you've enriched the campaign coffers that the lobbyists have contributed to buy those tax favors.
Right.
That's the problem. And so legislators generally find it much easier to collect money from a lobbyist to fund their campaign and other things than to go back to the home district and talk to the people and ask them for donations.
Right.
So it's a bad situation. It is corrupting, has corrupted our political system.
So that's a point kind of intrigues me. There is you brought up a point. You're an owner of two businesses, an import-export thing and a property redevelopment. One of the things that you're actually advocating in this tax is actually going to probably be detrimental to certain aspects of your own business, one of your own business ventures.
I ain't very smart. What it amounts to is today I enjoy this 20% advantage that I got by importing these raw materials from overseas, and I sell those to the steel industry. I'm competing with our own coal mines, our own alloys people, but the government is forcing me to buy overseas because it's too expensive to buy here. Mm-hmm. Does that make a lot of sense?
No, I mean, and actually a lot of those the government regulations are a large cause for a lot of these outsourcing of jobs that I read about.
Yes.
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 A lot of compliance attempts to comply with that stuff gets met with frustration. They just simply, with the companies, corporations, move offshore for it to avoid it.
When you take a 22% cost, that ripples through every segment of our society. And when we export those jobs, we export not only the job, but we export the profits from that company and the income stream from that company that supplied all other kinds of jobs in the community, as well as the retirement programs.
Right.
I mean, when you ripple all that through the economy, with exporting our jobs at the way we're exporting them is extremely detrimental, because we not only export today, we're not only exporting a manufacturing job, for example, we're exporting the research and development and the engineering. Mm-hmm. We send those jobs overseas. So no longer do we have the brain drain from overseas coming to the U.S. We're exporting our technology.
Right.
If we're going to build a new plant in China, we don't build yesterday's technology, we build the latest, because the other guy over here is going to build the latest. We need to compete.
Right.
It's killing us.
And it's like, well, you got some graphs here, and I don't know if we can get into them fully during this segment, but maybe we can start touching upon them. Why don't you show these, and then we can also have them up on the green screen there. So would you like to discuss one of those?
Sure. The first one is the competitiveness of Michigan products. And what this is it compares what the cost is under the current tax system and what it would be to sell a product under the fair tax system. And what it amounts to, you've got your production cost and profit that's the same under both systems. Then under the current system, you add the business taxes and the compliance costs, which are huge, on top of that, and that's your selling price. Under the fair tax system, none of that cost is added to the price of the product. So you save, your competitive advantage is what is today business taxes and compliance costs. When you walk into a company and they have whole floors of people devoted to complying with the tax code, the government has thousands of people working for tax compliance. Federal government, state government, both. It's a huge cost.
Well, anyway, we're going to get back to this on this, and we're going to have another segment on this. So this is John, and this is Studio 1714.